The courtyard of the tabernacle had grown quiet. The sacrifices had ended, and most of the worshippers had returned to their tents. The flickering light from the oil lamps danced across the stone floor as the evening breeze swept gently through Shiloh. But one woman remained. Hannah knelt alone before the Lord. Tears streamed down her face as her lips moved silently. No sound escaped her mouth, yet every unspoken word rose to heaven. She had reached the point where her pain was too deep for words. "Lord," she whispered in her heart, "you know every tear I have cried. You have seen every sleepless night and heard every silent prayer. I have no strength left. If you would only remember me and bless me with a son, I promise I will dedicate him to you for all the days of his life." As Hannah continued to pray, an elderly man watched her from a distance. It was Eli, the high priest. He noticed her trembling shoulders and moving lips, but because he could hear no words, he misunderstood what he was seeing. Walking toward her, Eli spoke sternly. "How long will you keep getting drunk? Put away your wine." Hannah immediately lifted her tear-filled eyes and answered with humility, "No, my lord. I have not been drinking. I am a woman who is deeply troubled. I have been pouring out my soul before the Lord. Please do not think I am a wicked woman. My prayers come from the pain and grief I have carried for so long." The old priest looked carefully into Hannah's eyes. He no longer saw someone under the influence of wine. He saw a woman crushed by sorrow, but still holding tightly to her faith. His expression softened. "Go in peace," Eli said gently. "May the God of Israel grant the request you have asked of him." Those words settled deep into Hannah's heart. For the first time in years, a quiet peace replaced the weight she had been carrying. Her circumstances had not changed. She was not yet pregnant. There was still no miracle to see. But something inside her had changed. She had placed her burden completely into God's hands. The next morning, Hannah joined her family for worship. Elkanah noticed something different about his wife. The sadness that had filled her face for so many years had been replaced by a quiet confidence. "You seem different today," he said. Hannah smiled warmly. "I don't know what tomorrow will bring," she replied, "but today I choose to trust the Lord." Together they began the journey home. Days turned into weeks. Weeks became months. Life continued as it always had. There were no dramatic signs from heaven, no thunder, and no angelic announcement. Then one ordinary day, the extraordinary happened. The Lord remembered Hannah. She realized she was expecting a child. With tears of overwhelming joy, she called for Elkanah. "The Lord has answered my prayer," she said as tears ran down her cheeks. Elkanah embraced her, and together they praised God for his faithfulness. Months later, the silence that had filled their home was finally broken, not by sorrow, but by the beautiful cry of a newborn baby boy. Hannah held her son close and whispered, "Your name shall be Samuel, because I asked the Lord for you." As she gazed into his tiny face, she remembered the promise she had made on that unforgettable night in Shiloh. Samuel was not only the answer to her prayers. He was a gift entrusted to her by God, and one day she would faithfully return him to the Lord.